What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today for you, I got Confessions of a Chick-Fil-A Employee by Jalen. I'm not gonna lie, Chick-Fil-A is ass. No, let me not go that far. It's mid. It's not ass, it's mid. Its chicken sandwiches don't got no flavor in my opinion. The fries are not like that in my opinion. The only thing they got going for them is the milkshake, honestly speaking. And the only way them fries be tasting good to me is with the Chick-fil-A sauce or some kind of sauce. If your fries need sauce to taste good, you're doing something wrong. My personal opinion, I'm a Popeyes guy because the fries don't need sauce in order to taste good. They taste good off their own. The chicken don't need sauce to taste good. The chicken could be by itself and still smack. And unlike Chick-fil-A, they're actually open on a Sunday. But I'm not gonna yap your ear off. I'ma just get straight into it.
So for legal reasons, I made this whole entire thing up. The title and thumbnail are clickbait. The story and any receipts I show are 100,000,000,000% fake. And I've never worked at Chick-fil-A a day in my life. I repeat, I have never worked at Chick-fil-A a day in my life. And this story is fake. So to all the people
You try not to get sued. I understand it.
Legal team watching this, thinking they're about to get a lawsuit out of me, just know you aren't. Because for the 1,000th time, I made this all up and this story is fake. So this story actually took place this past summer, aka the summer before I went off to college. And being more than to beat the broke college student stereotype, I was hungrier for a bag than ever. And I'd heard
Facts, understand that.
So of course I'm going on TikTok to do some research, but every other scroll, I was seeing employees having literal mental breakdowns over working there. And then
I'm not gonna lie, this song in the background kind of fire. Sounds like a Mario song, but I don't know where from. Shit. If anybody could figure it out in the comment, let me know in the comments, please, because I'm trying to figure this out. This shit getting added to the rotation.
Actually seeing this, I was just like, please, y'all just being dramatic and aren't serious about that. So of course I applied for the job, and a few days later I was in the chair, seated for an interview. And of course I Googled and practiced every question, but then the stuff that I was getting asked was completely out of left field. So me being me doing what I do, I just start pulling stuff out my butt. And I could tell these interviews were getting everything and anything that I was saying up. Because every time I finished talking, they looked at each other with their brows raised like, and then start writing stuff down. And in my head, I was just like, So the interview finished, I shook both their hands, and I walked out knowing that the bag had been secured. So it came to no surprise when a few days later, I got a text telling me that they wanted me to join the team. And being the bag chaser that I am, of course I accept the offer. And a few days later, I was called in by one of the managers to come in and do some paperwork. And during this time, we were talking, and she had asked if I thought I was going to get the job. And I was trying to be a thug about it, but I couldn't. And ended up just being like, yeah. Now for some very important context, right? During the interview, I had acrylic nails on. And I'm an extremely expressive person. I see them never break down the internet to ya. I took one with my hands, and
I mean, obviously she's bringing it up because it has some kind of issue, but what kind of issue could acrylics be in like a Chick-fil-A work setting? I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I don't understand acrylics at all. I don't get them at all, but alright, let's see.
I was doing all the same in the interview. And then, when I came to the paperwork, which again, the lady who interviewed me was the manager, I still had my nails on and my piercing was visible. And she didn't say or do anything to indicate that they would be a potential problem. And to back up more, when I was doing my TikTok research, I was seeing people work there who had bigger piercings and longer nails than mine. So I was under the impression that I was going to be in the all clear. Anyways, my first day comes, and when I pull it up in my head, I was like, I'm so nervy. But in an excited way, you know. However, the millisecond my big toe even hit the entrance, and I saw who my future coworkers were going to be, my spidey senses were immediately kicking in. Because
did you have some of them bad coworkers, or some of them like on your ass coworkers? Cause that shit could be annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
Because when they greeted me and told me to wait around for a bit until they were ready for me or whatever, the smiles were more on the culty than welcoming side. And the girl who was in charge of training me, who we're just going to refer to as Op, introduces herself to me, gives me my uniform, and tells me that when I go to the bathroom to change, to put my hair in a bun, and also take my piercing out. Not even tuck it in, but take it out. And after I changed and looked into the mirror, which first of all, and excuse my French, you can listen German, right? But I was going to be serving more in this uniform than food. Like I was serving some serious CUNT. But anyways, looking into the mirror, I could already see the life in my eyes starting to leave. And all the
Yeah, you felt that work, that soul leave your body when you enter work. It's a horrible feeling, I'm not gonna lie. My job now don't be doing that to me. Nah. But I do know the feeling.
All the nerves that were initially out of excitement were now just out of nervousness alone. But at this point, I'm at the bathroom. And before we can start orientation, I had to download this app, but to do so, my phone had to get its most recent update. And because I'm a procrastinator when it comes to that, my phone was not. And the phone policy here was extremely strict. And for the duration of your shift, you're expected to have your phone locked up all the way.
Hey, this is editing CG0 here. Now that I'm looking at that situation in post editing, I'm realizing how much of a safety issue that is. Because what if a family issue pops up and they're trying to contact you about it? You can't be notified, and that would genuinely piss me off if I had worked there. But I'm gonna shut my ass up. Let's get back into it.
In the back. Even looking at your Apple Watch for any longer than a millisecond was a big no-no. And for that reason, I had to have my phone face up flat on the counter as it updated. Phone updates, and then Op emails me a link. And again, thanks to the phone policy, my phone was face up flat on the counter as I looked for said email, which for whatever reason wasn't showing up. And Op also peeps this. And instead of trying to email to me again, this girl starts scrolling through my emails. Now this wasn't absolutely mortifying to me because I had some top secret info on Area 51 in my emails. My thing was, this girl was approximately 3 scrolls away from seeing a notification of any Area 3 fanfiction that I had bookmarked getting updated.
Yo, she about to read your fanfics? Well, hold on. The music was too loud for me to hear what kind of fanfic it was. You mind telling me, sister?
Secret info on Area 51 in my emails. My thing was, this girl was approximately 3 scrolls away from seeing a notification of any Area 3 fanfiction that I had.
Any AR3. Voltron Legendary Defender. Oh, okay. Voltron fanfic is crazy. 53 chapter? Yeah, nah. Not what? Season 8? Girl, what kind of fanfics are you writing? And how dedicated are you to have 53 chapters for one? Like, goddamn. And obviously, that's not the last chapter. It has a question mark. Even you don't know how many chapters this one had. Like, damn.
Had bookmarked getting updated, but the email ended up being in my spam folder, crisis averted, and now it's finally time to start orientation. But before I can even start, Op says to me, "You have to take your nails off." And the way that she was saying it, she was expecting me to do that on the spot, and excluding the fact that it's impossible unless you want a bloodbath. That's something that you can't do with acrylics. And obviously in a more polite way, I tell her as much, and she goes, "Well, since today's your first day, you get a pass. But when you come in tomorrow, they need to be off." Mind you, I was working 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. this day and the same the next. And excluding the fact that I had bills to pay, places to be, just all around things to do when I clocked off that day, it is already so difficult to squeeze in a last minute nail appointment, let alone with the time frame that I was being given. Which again, in a more polite and corporate way, I tell her as much. But then I also out on the fact that when I come in on Saturday, which was my next shift after Tuesday, that they'd be off. So as you can see here, I am by no means trying or even being difficult.
So you're trying to be reasonable. You are definitely trying to be reasonable. I could see that. How does she ruin your day?
Problem. I'm putting the conflict resolution skills that I put on my resume to work. And Hope just looks at me and says, "Well, if you come in tomorrow and you're still on, you're getting written up."
I didn't hear that.
And to those words, I felt my heart slide all the way down to my cheeks in real time. Because what do you mean? I'm not even an hour into my first day on the job and I'm already on the verge of getting written up. All I responded with was, "Okay, I'll see what I can do." But from that point on, I knew I was not gonna like this girl and we were not gonna get along. So
yeah, she's gonna make your working life a nightmare.
This time, I'm finally able to start scrolling through stupid orientation, and let me just say, I love me some Jesus. Me and him, we are locked in #AF, but I had to watch 8 or 10 videos, right? And at the start of every single one of them, they would reiterate the purpose of Chick-Fil-A and its employees, that being to be the best steward that we could be to Jesus Christ, over and over and over again, to the point where it was just getting straight up cold. And on the next page,
yeah, no. The Lord don't support this. In the name of the Lord, I rebuke thee.
there's lists of words that we couldn't say and what to say in place of them. Now, these banned words weren't cuss words, slurs, or any sort of hate speech. They'd be your average everyday sayings, such as "of course" and "you're welcome." And Op explains that this is because, unlike McDonald's, we actually pride ourselves with hospitality and customer service. And I don't know if this is a Chick-Fil-A wide thing, or it was just my location, but even during the interview, McDonald's was catching strays from the managers. But because of how much Chick-Fil-A is to McDonald's, when referring to our coworkers, we weren't allowed to say okay. Instead, we had to say heard, like this was some Gordon Ramsay show. And then the next list consisted of appearance things that weren't allowed to fly. And of course, piercings were included in that. And on the next slide, as reviewed, there is a plethora of images of people, and upon clicking on one, you get a Harvard essay as to what was wrong with their appearance and why. At this point, I was fresh out of high school. Like, I just walked across the stage last week.
Chick-Fil-A! You're selling chicken sandwiches with a drink and fries for $15. Hop the fuck off of my meat.
And was more than deserving of a break from any sort of required reading. And these explanations were all self-explanatory common sense. So I skipped to the next slide and keep it pushing. And I guess she figured that I couldn't have read all that fast enough, but let the record show I'm a very fast reader. Finishing 100,000 word A prefix in one night is slight work for me. You
are a fuck ton better than me, ma'am. I ain't got reading skills like that. I'm not that skilled. Honestly speaking, you better than me.
But she puts her finger to the iPad and moves it right back to the last slide. And then goes, no, you have to read every single one of them. Okay. But with that,
she's tweaking.
And despite not having even done the actual work yet, I was already over his job. Unfortunately, there are no tables for me to decompress and being emo at, so I had to sit with Op for lunch. And another weird thing about Chick-Fil-A is you don't get your own food. You order it, and then your coworkers come and serve it to you, giving you the full customer service experience, cold smile, glaze.
That would genuinely creep me out. I would actively think I was working for a cult if I saw some shit like this going down. Especially if I told you after work and you not really like that. Yeah, no, fuck no. In the name of the Lord, I rebuke thy Satan.
And all. Lunch ends, and now it's finally time to start doing some actual work. And I've worked a customer service job before. Needless to say, this was not my first rodeo with the register. However, I
saw my camera freeze. My heart dropped to my ass. We good?
The job in question was a retail job, and retail and food registers are in completely different cinematic universes. So looking at the format, I'm not gonna lie, it was a tad bit overwhelming, and for once I was thankful for Op because she was giving him a very detailed rundown of the register. And for the first 10-15 minutes, I was locked the F in. But then she started going over every single possible food combo that could ever exist. And the food combo lecture went on for a good, no exaggeration, 45 minutes. But she finally stopped talking, and it was time to get to hashtag work. When talking to customers, I would get
about damn time
old job and then modify it in a way that would fit Chick-Fil-A, or at least I thought it would fit. What's a good name for the order? You can't say that. Okay. I can say the next person in line. No, you need to say, I can serve the next guest in line. Will that be all for you today? No. You need to say, how else may I serve you today? Like, everything had to be said so meticulous.
I ain't no slave. You're not about to catch me on some, please, sir, inform me of how I may serve you. Please, sir. Please.
To the point where it was actually ridiculous. And then, of course, Op hits me with, if we have to keep correcting you on how to say things, you're gonna get written out. Op also wouldn't let me do anything. When taking an order, you get every part of that person's order before you ask them for their name. So I would get a customer, start them off, and then she would swoop in, kick me off, and then would get on me for not asking for their name. Even though she wouldn't even let me get that far to do so. I'd be more understanding if it was packed.
Oh yeah, nah, she was trying to get you fired.
Their mama up in there, and if people weren't getting their chicken minis in 0.03 seconds, somebody would start getting ghetto. But there'd be one, maybe two people in line max. Like, this was by no means rush hour. I think she had her C blank A's mixed up, because with how serious she was treating this job, you would have thought it was the CIA. No, girl, this is barely above minimum wage, CFA. But at this point, I'm starting to expect the honey iced tea and not the Chick-Fil-A.
This is Chick-Fil-A, not the CIA. Get it together.
Because I was getting told for the past few hours that I wasn't doing anything right, and not even in a way that was constructive. Like, apologies for not knowing how to do my job on the first day of said job. I would say, my pleasure, but it wouldn't be said with enough enthusiasm. I would smile, but it would never be wide enough. And to add on to the smiling part, when I would turn around to make a drink, my smile would drop, because that's customer service 101 right there. And there had to be a camera somewhere, because the millisecond it dropped.
Hell no! What in the FNAF jump scare are you doing? Why the fuck is her pasty ass 5 feet away? Not even 5 feet, 5 inches away from this poor girl's face. She looks like she about to come at you on some.
Hey there. I saw you weren't smiling. If you don't mind, why don't you
crease those lips and let that smile come on back. Let those cheeks rise. Come on. Like, bro, no. Back your pasty ass up. Your eyes are blue, but I ain't trying to drown in that ocean.
Jalen, why aren't you smiling? Like this was something straight out of 1984. I say with confidence because I definitely read the book when it was assigned and didn't just Google a summary off of Spark Notes.
She's trying her damnedest not to get sued.
My shift is practically over, and I'll ask me, okay, so what do you think you did good today? I was good with getting the drinks out quick. Sure. Okay, now, what do you think you could have improved on? And I knew what she wanted me to say, so I said it. I smile. Yeah. So, if we have to keep telling you to fix your attitude, fix your smile, you're gonna get written up. And with that, my first...
Why do I have to smile if I'm not addressing a customer at the moment? This is not Disneyland. We're at Chick-Fil-A. My cheeks gonna hurt after all this smiling. Jesus Christ. Don't get off my ass.
Day was finished, and I said goodbye to everybody. Because if you don't greet all your coworkers when you come in and bid them farewell when you leave, you guessed it,
you get written up. No.
With a sliver of my sanity still intact, I'm walking out the door, and I hear Op call out to me, make sure you get those nails fixed. And for whatever reason, that was my last.
Yeah, that would have been my last straw too, sister. Nah. That's like being... That's like me walking out on my last day and and her being like, make sure you get that hair taken care of. Like, the fuck? Hop off, dick. You are on a power trip. Chill.
Straw. One thing about me, when I feel a lot of anything, I cry. So when I'm really happy, I cry. When I'm really sad, I cry. And when I'm really frustrated, I cry. And I was so frustrated, and the whole drive back I felt so conflicted because I was like, yes, this pay is sexy AF, but what good is it if I come home like this after every shift? And after a mini crash out on the Finsta and a talk with my parents, I made the executive decision to quit. So later the same day, I pulled back up and did right just that. Went in and asked for a manager, and I will say not one person was smiling, but whatever. I sit down with one, and obviously she asked me why I'm quitting. I told her everything I told y'all, and trust and believe I was very much name dropping, and I even said straight up that I felt that if I even breathed the wrong way here, I'd get written up. A day or two later, I came back to return the uniform. On the way home, I got Chick-Fil-A at a different location, obviously, duh. And on top of nobody smiling, you would never...
You see, that's where you messed up. You should have got Popeyes. Way better chicken, way better seasonings. You should have got Popeyes, sis. That's where the disconnect is. We was here, but now we here. Now we here. Come on, sis.
Never guess what I saw. Moral of the story, the next time you go to a Chick-fil-A, be extra nice to the employees because 9 in 10 chance they're getting tortured in the basement. But thank you so much for listening and stay blessed. Juicy.
And that was the confessions of a Chick-fil-A worker. I'm not gonna lie, from how Popeye's employees act, I could tell that fast food employees are under a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that Chick-fil-A employees gotta go through all that, crazy. Could never be me because I have 1, way too much self-respect, and 2, way too petty, and 3, my temper is way too short. I don't do disrespect in any way, shape, or form. So if you disrespect me, I'm gonna have to disrespect you in kind with a smile on my face. So yeah, I could not be a Chick-fil-A worker. I would get fired day 1, not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with anybody you know, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.